Tomorrow is your birthday, and you feel nothing. No countdown, no plans, no birthday week energy. While everyone else treats their birthday like a personal holiday season, you're treating yours like it's just another square on the calendar. Your friends don't get it. Your family thinks you're being cold or ungrateful. But what if you're not indifferent at all? What if your brain is actually doing something very intentional? Today, we're unpacking the psychology of people who treat their birthday like a regular day. And trust me, this has nothing to do with being boring or antisocial. We're talking about control, childhood experiences, cultural conditioning, and yes, a quiet brush with existential dread. Fun stuff. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth about birthdays. They force you into the spotlight. Whether you want it or not, you become the main character for 24 hours. And for some people, that feels less like a gift and more like a threat. Psychologists describe this discomfort as a form of spotlight-related anxiety. It's the unease that comes from being watched, evaluated, and emotionally performed at. But here's the part most people miss. It's not just about shyness, it's about agency. Think about it. On your birthday, other people take control. They decide how you'll celebrate. They choose the venue, they plan the surprises, they sing that awkward song while you sit there smiling, wondering how long eye contact is socially acceptable. You're present, but you're not in charge. For people with a strong need for autonomy, those with a deep internal sense of control, this feels deeply unsettling. Research on personality and locus of control suggests that individuals who believe they steer their own lives often feel less satisfied with traditional birthday celebrations. They don't want to be the passenger in their own story. They'd rather keep the day ordinary than give up the wheel. But here's where the story takes a turn. Some people don't avoid birthdays because they don't want attention. They avoid them because they want it too much. Picture this. You're a kid. It's your birthday. You've built it up in your head for weeks. The cake, the friends, that one gift you've been dreaming about. And then something falls apart. The cake is late. Half the guests don't show up. Someone else steals the spotlight. The day that was supposed to feel magical just feels hollow. This is what psychologists call the expectation gap, the space between what we imagine and what actually happens. Our brains are prediction machines. We're constantly simulating the future, and when reality fails to meet that simulation, we experience emotional whiplash. The bigger the gap, the deeper the disappointment. So the brain adapts. If you expect nothing, you can't be let down. For some people, treating their birthday like a normal day becomes emotional armor. It's not apathy, it's strategy. They learned early on that hope hurts more than indifference. By lowering expectations to zero, they guarantee emotional safety. No hype, no buildup, no crash. They're not downplaying themselves, they're protecting themselves. Now let's go somewhere darker. Birthdays are annual reminders that time is moving forward and not in your favor. Each candle is a quiet acknowledgement that you're 1 year closer to the end. Here's some cake. Try not to think about it. Terror management theory explains that humans are uniquely aware of their own mortality, and that awareness creates anxiety we spend our lives trying to manage. Birthdays trigger what psychologists call mortality salience, a subtle reminder that time is finite. Some people respond by celebrating loudly. I'm alive, let's make it count. Others cope the opposite way, by minimizing the day entirely. Studies show that certain personality types respond to mortality reminders by downplaying milestones. Not consciously, they're not thinking about death. But somewhere in the background, their nervous system is easing the tension by pretending the day doesn't matter. It's a strange paradox, honoring life by refusing to highlight the passage of time. But here's something rarely discussed. Some people who ignore their birthdays are secretly the most birthday-obsessed of all. Confused? Good. There's a phenomenon called idealization paralysis. These are people who hold such a perfect vision of how their birthday should feel that reality could never live up to it. The imagined version is flawless, the right people, the right energy, the perfect emotional moment. And because real life is messy, unpredictable, and slightly disappointing, they opt out completely. It's like having a movie in your head so beautiful you never film it, because the real version would ruin the fantasy. These individuals often score high in creativity and emotional depth, but also in self-criticism. They care intensely. They just don't want to risk seeing their ideal shattered. From the outside, it looks like indifference. On the inside, it's fear of disappointment. Psychologist Brené Brown refers to this as foreboding joy, the habit of preemptively dampening happiness to avoid pain. You don't fully lean into good moments because you're bracing for the letdown. Now, let's zoom out. Not everyone grew up in a culture where birthdays are treated like personal festivals. In many collectivist cultures, individual milestones aren't emphasized the same way. Sometimes birthdays are acknowledged quietly. Sometimes they're celebrated communally. Sometimes they barely register at all. If you were raised in an environment where birthdays weren't a big deal, treating them casually isn't psychological avoidance. It's normal. Your emotional baseline is different. You're not rejecting the tradition. You just never internalized it. Context shapes everything. So pause for a moment. Which of these hit home for you? Control, emotional protection, fear of disappointment, mortality anxiety, cultural conditioning, or something else entirely? Here's the final twist. Some people treat their birthday like any other day because they're actually deeply secure. Authentic self-worth doesn't come from one special day. It comes from internal validation. People with secure attachment styles don't need a designated moment to feel valued. They already do. The birthday is pleasant, sure, but it doesn't define them. Meanwhile, people who desperately need their birthday to be extraordinary sometimes, are trying to make up for not feeling special the rest of the year. So what's really behind people who don't care about their birthday? It's not one thing. It's control, it's protection, it's culture, it's fear, it's self-respect. Or maybe they genuinely forgot their birthday was coming up, and it's not that deep. Either way, the next time someone shrugs when you mention their birthday, don't assume they're cold or strange. They might just be navigating the psychological maze of modern life in the way that feels safest to them. And honestly, that makes sense. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to casually think about my own birthday, which is months away, just enough to pretend I don't care. If this fascinated you, the next video dives into another mind-bending psychology topic. Check it out right here. And if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing or becoming a member. It genuinely helps me keep turning complex psychology into stories that actually feel human. Thanks for being here.